Pro Group Racing, show us your tips looking towards Doomben 10,000 day, a wet Doomben 10,000 day and a wet Scone Cup. Not Scone Cup, wet day 2 of the Scone Carnival. Daggy Beaver with you to look through everything going on, I guess, up the wet northeastern coast. Beaver, how are you travelling?
Yeah, travelling all right here, mate. It's pretty wet in Sydney as well, so and I expect there probably to be pretty much heavy on the heavy side of tracks, pretty much across Scone and Eagle Farm for the weekend.
Yeah, supposedly I was reading today they reckon the Eagle Farm track's still somehow soft, so it must be an incredible track if that is true. But I think it's over 130 mil of rain for the week or something similar, so a lot of rain. Is still wet here today. Up here for lucky enough to be up here for Magic Round, but we'll see how we go. See if we can find a few winners. On a very tricky card. It's been transferred from the Doomben track. They did that early enough for us all to be aware of it. To Eagle Farm, the rails in the 7. As I said, borderline soft to heavy. Any thoughts on how the track may play?
Hang on a sec, mate. Lost you.
Yeah.
Don't know what's happened there. I'm back.
You got you?
Yeah.
All right.
Accidentally hit something.
No, that's all right. Any thoughts on how the track may play at Wet Eagle Farm?
Oh, look, not so sure. I guess you probably don't want to be getting too far out of big ground. But, maybe if they get to the outside fence, then that won't be a bad thing at all. But I guess you're going to have to wait and see. But, you're probably going to want to be on speed and putting the pressure on.
We kick off with a Class 6 over the 1,000, a nearly impossible race to get your head around to start the card. Couldn't you find the winner here?
Yeah, look, mate, I've come up with Shamaton. I think it's 3 starts this preparation have all been pretty good. I know they're sort of a 6th, a 2nd and a 4th, but not far off the mark in all of those. And probably, I think, maybe in slightly better company than this, or as good a company as this. And it loomed up last start and only got run over at the end, a length off the winners, and then finished second, finishing nicely at the start before that. So I think its form line for this is quite good. It's got some talent. Jamie Carr aboard and probably sits just off the pace, and drawn nice enough. So I think Shamaton's not a bad bet in the first.
Wet. I guess he's okay, but we'll see how wet it is for it. I was impressed by the trial of Tara Jasmine coming here. Hasn't seen a wet track, so that is an unknown. You've covered off Shamaton quite well, and Boom Nova coming off an okay win. I thought they were the main 3 to play around in the first, but we'll see how we go there. Race.
Yeah, certainly a look out on Tara Jasmine. But it has
trials were great.
This is probably the best. Yeah, probably best race it's had to start in, and its only start in high grade company. It was a bit of a failure, but we'll see here.
Yeah, admittedly, all its wins have come at home, so we'll see. Former home at Grafton, so we'll see how it goes. The second is a listed handicap race over the mile, where I struggled to want to be interested in any of the horses closer to the market, so I defaulted to the international debutant here, Al Nassim. A couple of okay trials coming here. Tommy Berry going on for Michael Friedman from, I don't know what US form brings to wet tracks, but I just didn't want to back DML again, and I sort of didn't want to back Big Boy Roy, so I wasn't left with much else. What do you think?
Yeah, I did the same. I didn't want to back DML and Big Boy Roy, so it did leave me with Al Nason and Derulo. I've gone for Al Nason. Just the fact that it's here and it's in a good stable, drawn well. So hopefully, not sure about how it goes on the heavy track, but if they start it, then one would assume it'll handle it. And Derulo's, has some good form. 11, it's 1-7 and plays 4 out of its 18 starts. And last start was pretty good in the listed event where it sort of stuck on well behind Kukaracha, who only ran over it in the end. So I think that's probably a good form line for a race like this. So it could be hard to beat as well.
Beautiful. The staying contest, Chairman's Handicap Group 3 over the 2,143 metres, where, again, I struggled a little bit. Ducon was unlucky last start. It probably should have been well in the finish. And perhaps is slightly a bit better as a result, but I couldn't find a lot else away from it. So I was having it on top from Star of Michelin, who hit the line well last start. Neither are really winners that you want to be jumping out of trees to back, but struggled to find anything else in this race. What do you think?
Yeah, I came up with Tutukaka as well for the same reasons as you. I think third up is perfect for it. The 2100 certainly suits, and yeah, it was pretty hard to get excited about. So based off that, I thought I would stick with Tutukaka.
Race 4.
Really hard when Waller's got top 3. You just don't know.
And two or three might come out depending how the track comes up. So it's hard to really
get
a straight line. The Shakiro, the Stradbroke Calcutta Plate, I should say, is race 4 for the 3-year-olds. Stars Tontes heads the market. Maybe obviously so, Beaver?
Yeah, look, a lot to like about its first up run. I thought it hit the line as good as anything, and will be improved by that first up run. We know it flies up in Brisbane, and we know the qualities of Star Tontes. So based on that, you'd think it'd be hard to beat. Has some good form on the soft and heavy, so hasn't been out of a placing. So you would think it'll handle the track. And obviously, bit of a watch on the New Zealander, El Vencedor. I looked at a couple of its replays and looked like a quite strong horse that'll sit on pace. And last start, was still kicking on the line at over the 1400. So I think it could run well as well.
Yeah, the rest of the card, we get quite a few of those Kiwis that all appear to be going okay. So they're hard to line up this week. I'm with Star Tontes on top as well. Its run in Sydney was great on that heavy track, where it just missed, and I think it sets up pretty well for it. Minx Moment resumed with a nice win. If it's really wet, it might not be here, but Star Tontes clearly on top for me. So it's nice to find one that I can stand for once. The Spirit of Boom Classic over 1,200 metres is a 2-year-old race. Again, very tricky stuff. I went looking for the 2. Well, we talked about political debate last week. It's been saved and sent up here. It's $11. I think I'll still be backing it in this race. Pike on wide gate by this time might not be a problem. Both the horse that beat it home when it was off the rails on a Canterbury Rails day has won since, and the horse that ran third has won since. So the form looks all right. And Waller doesn't generally send them north without a fair idea. And I thought I might have a saver on the Michael Friedman Ringmaster just coming through the Sydney form as well. What do you think?
Yeah, I know it down to 2. I've gone for Count de Beans from the Costa stable. Took it to Grafton last start after 2 pretty good trials at the Gold Coast, and started short price and brained them. That was a pretty impressive run. I think it might have a little bit of ability, and I'm willing to follow it up here at the $6.50, $7 mark. And I also thought political debate, you wouldn't let it slide under our guard, given that they scratched you midweek, and brought it up here for this.
Absolutely. Quaddy kicks off with race 6, the Bright Shadow for the mares, listed grade here. Your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, mate. I think the One Diva, pretty keen on this. I thought its first up run at Caulfield was outstanding, just set off the pace and really let down beautifully. But if you go back to last preparation, its form was outstanding up in Brizzy. Ran 4th in the listed race a length behind Miami Fleece, which was a fantastic run. And then raced in good company and group company at Melbourne, and was only a couple of lengths off Menage, and then at Rose Hill won a good benchmark race. Look, I think this is a horse on the way up, and I've got it hardest to beat.
Cool. I was going to make a case for the Kiwi in this one, Babylon Berlin. I thought heavy, unbeaten in the heavy, never missed a place in the soft. J-Mac goes on wide gate, and we saw Sort of State come here, and I don't know how it didn't win last week. And so that form, I think, lines up okay here. So I was just leaning that way from One Diva. You've covered off well. Gate 1 may be a concern by this stage. Was the only knock I had on it. Nice win at Caulfield, so I can't. Looks like it's come back quite well.
I certainly think the pace will be on here, and Babylon Berlin will ensure that. I just thought the 5 kilo pulling the weights might tell in the end.
Absolutely. And if the pace is on gate 1, you can probably get a nice. Tommy very gently can get into the outside from gate 1. For better or worse sometimes. Race 7 is the Rough Habit Plate over the 21.43, where what was I saying here? I was scratching my head. I ended up putting Pinarello on top. Nice win before heading over here last start over the 2100. Showed a pretty good turn of foot there. Hopefully, again, can get the outside and stack up all right here, because there wasn't a lot else that I really got excited about. What do you think?
Look, there's a lot to like
respect to character as well. So,
look, there's a lot to like about Pinarello. Last 2 starts, it went from a benchmark 65 or racing as maiden benchmark 65 into a Group 1, where it ran really well, but finished 7 lengths off them, and then was good in the Group 2. Not so sure about the quality of the field, but it was a good run. Look, I think character is probably, I think it's outstanding bet here. Last start was just fantastic. Just sat in behind the pace, and when it let down, it went to the front really quickly. And then if you watch the replay closely, it was still going as well as anything on the line. I think it had plenty more to give. And if you go back a couple of starts ago, put a line through the race won by Hitotsu, that was absolute bog truck. But before that at Newcastle was outstanding as well. I think it's been set for this, and what a combination, McDonald and Cummings. So, good bet.
Group 1, Doomben 10,000 over the 1,200 metres, I should say, is race 8. It's a fantastic bet here. I think Mazu is flying, brings pretty good form. It's just drifted out to $3, I've noticed this morning. And I think it's one of only maybe 2.5 hopes. I think the Dangers, Paul Ile, J Mac and Cummings, as you've said, coming through some good form. And then I think there's an easy gap back to anyone else in the market. We'll talk about the quality later, but I think, for me, they're the only 2 bets I'll be having in this race, and pretty comfortably so.
Yeah, look, $3 is a bit surprising for this, because 4 starts this preparation of all, nothing's got close to it, to be honest. The wetter it is, the better it goes. So that's not going to be a problem. 57 kilos is fine. That's what it's been carrying, and it's drawn 8. So it's going to be, Clipperton's going to be able to sit Mazu wherever it wants, go to the front if it needs to, or just sit behind them depending on any other pace in the race. Obviously, Rothfire will go quite quick. So Mazu probably just tag it into the race. Rothfire will capitulate. It'll go past it, and they're going to find it hard to run this thing down.
Absolutely. Pretty keen, actually, the more I've thought about it. We wrap up with a benchmark 85. How are you finishing the day over the 1,400 metres?
I'm going to stick with Paladas. I thought its first up run, there was enough to like about that to stick with it here. It was probably a little bit closer than I expected in the run. But if you, again, go back and look at the replay, and it was finishing off nicely. It was doing its best work late over the 1,200 last start. The extra 200 metres is going to be right up its alley. And from gate 5, again, can probably sit midfield, and over the 1,400, put on its finishing burst that we know it's got. But there's some horses probably at odds here that can run a nice race as well. Aiden's Field's going well, and if you're looking for a roughie, More Sundays I think is around the 20s. Third up, I think More Sundays is probably a good knockout chance.
Yeah, definitely. I think they definitely go on the quaddie. I like the price around 2 horses. I assume Flexible's here. I haven't got to Scone just yet. Was accepted there, but I think it'll run well here. Trials have been good, and resumed with the win last start. And Aiden's Field, you've mentioned, and it was $14 when I looked last night. In a little bit this morning, gets through the wet fine. They were the 2 I'd looked at before you go back to Paladas, and a couple of others. Good way to finish the card with a bit of value. Speaking of value, Beaver, do you want to do your quaddie first for Queensland?
Yeah, I will do my quaddie first for Queensland, mate. My first leg, which starts in race 6, I've gone number 1, Babylon Berlin. Number 2, Written Beauty. Number 4, Kisakano. And number 7, Juan Diva. In the next leg, I've gone number 1, Character. Number 3, Dark Destroyer. Number 5, Pinarello. And I'll also throw in the 2, Tutukaka. In the third leg, again, I'm going to go number 3, Counter Rupee. Number 9, Mazu. Number 10, Paul Leal. And number 14, Isotope.
Cool. Nothing. Leaving Entreviera out. Was the only other one?
I'm going to leave Entreviera. Cool. Yeah, I was going to leave it out. And in the last leg, I'm going number 3, Ulysses. Number 7, More Sundays. Number 12, Paladas. And number 13, Flexible.
Beautiful. I think you've covered off Aidensfield. You mentioned it. Leaving it out.
Yeah, I've left it out.
All right, beauty. For progretracing.com.au, you want to throw us your best and value as well?
Yeah, my best bet comes up in race 7, number 1, Character. I think it's super hard to beat. And my value bet comes up in race 5, number 12, Count the Beans.
Lovely. I'm going to make my best Mazu. Why not get my best in the Group 1 there? Mazu in the Doomben 10,000. And my value in the 8th will be, Flexible in the blue colours if it comes here. If it stays in Scone, it'll be there too, which I'll find out momentarily. Check out progretracing.com.au for their free tips, extensive guides, sign up to their mailing list, as well as subscribe to us on YouTube to get notified every time we put up one of these shows twice a week, midweek and weekend previews. As we head down the highway to Scone, where it's wet as well. Day 2 of the carnival, so we'll keep an eye on what happens today. We sometimes do get weird biases there in these carnivals, but I assume by the end of 2 days of wet racing, they're going to be trying to get wider and come down the outside, but we'll watch that. We kick off with the highway. Do I need the alarm here?
You got to have the alarm here.
Should have had it ready. Hang on. Here we go. There we go. All right. Do you want to tip it for us?
Yeah, look, going to stick with Masara here in the first in the highway. Hard to go past. 3 from 3 wins. Resuming here. Had a pretty soft trial at Tamworth in preparation for this. It worked into its campaign first up last time, stepping up in the distance, 1,500 first up. Hard to beat.
Yeah, I didn't wade through the highway form, but it did stick out from what I'd seen there. So I'll follow your lead with the Masara alarm there. Race 2 is the midway over the 1,700 metres, where I like the chances, as I refresh my page, of Dr. Evil off the win. I thought it was a pretty good win getting through the wet. All right, last start comes here. I don't think this is much trickier. And a few of these are just making up numbers at the moment, so I was leading that way. What were your thoughts here?
Yeah, nice little run at Canterbury by
and it's
Dr. Evil.
$13 just to cap it all off.
Yeah, I've gone for Outlook. I think it's a huge chance in this. I liked its run last start. It's first up over the 1,600. Finished up very nicely behind From the Bush, who has a bit of ability. It'll be better suited with the extra 100 metres and a bit more fitness edge here. Going back to last preparation, it was pretty good in some of the staying affairs that it contested. Good chance here.
Race 3, the 2,200 metre benchmark 78. Have you got something to say about this top horse here?
Oh, mate. Well, look, I'm going to tip it because I think it should have won last start. It was very disappointing. Wasn't ridden out. So it's obviously shouldn't have any problems handling the extra distance here. So assume that was just a bit of a brain fade by Rachel King. Interestingly, not on here. Gets the 2 kilo claim, which will suit getting back into 60 kilos, and probably a much easier race, to be honest. So I expect it on the quick back up to win.
Agree. Gay up in distance, Gay on the back up, getting Reece Jones on the leader. Let's be honest, he's a bit of a stronger rider too. He will lead this. Yeah, it's my best today. It'll win if it does turn up here. Race 4, the Woodland Stakes for the 2-year-olds, where I was happy to have something on. What have I got here? Could I close my page? Luna Rocks, who has. Where is it here? Off the win over Ringmaster, who we'll see later on at Queensland, but I thought that was a nice enough win. Comes here and will be close enough and hard to beat. From In Secret, Gate 1 may be a concern by now, but a nice debut. Looks strong through the line at Hawkesbury there, so they're the 2 for me. What do you make of this?
Yeah, I was quite shocked at the price of In Secret. I thought it was pretty good. 1 start, 1 win, and the way it won its first up at Hawkesbury was pretty soft through the line. It was a pretty convincing win there. A couple of probably horses. I mean, it beat expectation who's in this race, who come out and won post that. So it's the 4th favourite in it. So yeah, a couple of other horses in here with a watch on them, but I thought In Secret was hard to beat. I probably had Lady Harlem as the hardest to beat. Ran a good run in its only race start at Moonee Valley behind Semillions, so might have a bit of ability as well.
Beautiful. Race 5 is a benchmark 72 over the 1,300 metres. Who have you got on top?
Yeah, I'm going for the first up, And We Danced, from the Wallace stable, around $8.50. Has had a few starts on soft and gone okay. Keen to see how it goes fresh, but it was pretty
disappointing.
Good.
A couple of those starts last prep. Probably should have won.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably should have won one of them, but it ran into Arctic Thunder. Somebody just nipped who was flying at the time.
Yeah.
And probably should have won the start after that. But I think they were its first 2 runs in Australia from coming from New Zealand, and sometimes these horses can then, next preparation, really improve once they've acclimatised. I think it has more upside than most of these. Kiriola, I thought was going to be super hard to beat first up in Brizzy. Was a little bit disappointing, so I wouldn't let it get under my guard. But And We Danced on top.
I defaulted to Sacrimony, who I missed first up. I thought that wasn't a bad win. And second up, I should say, wasn't a bad win. Does come to Scone, so longer straight. But Avdallah goes on for Berry. Don't think that's any loss. And I think you can probably get Nitro Price by the time we get there tomorrow. You've covered off And We Dance. I think you get the double figures. You can have something on it. And this fine point keeps popping up just to do my head in. It'll probably be scratched again, so maybe I don't need to mention it.
Yeah, I thought it would be a chance if it starts.
Yeah, so looks like Waller's got the key to that one. The Denise's Joy over the 1,100 metres for the 3-year-old fillies is up next, where I was putting on top. Well, I've defaulted the Mar Eustace IME. Very impressed. He's up the straight last time. I know it's coming from potentially softer stuff, but we'll be on pace. Hopefully Chad can get to the right part of the track by this time and give you something to run down. It does have a soft track win to its name. Najmadi resumed really well. I was impressed by its win, actually, for also I'd penned. Might be right part of the track, might have come back better. Might not be here if it's wet. So IME from Najmadi. I'll mention the other numbers when we get to the quaddie. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I thought IME looks like a real prospect. It was very impressive last start, and I thought, it was a very nice win. Got it on top here. Main danger, the top weight Mallory. Steps back in grade here. This is a listed event where it's been racing in group races and it's been round about the mark, so it could improve.
It's dead to me. But we kick off the quaddie with the Luskin Star over 1,300 metres. Andermatt's still accepted in 2 races. It'll win whichever race it goes to. So it's hard for me to really... I think it's waiting for a run in the other one. But if it's here, it'll win and win by a space. It's a fantastic wet tracker. Wherever it ends up, it's going to be my best of the day. If it's not here, I like Tycoonist win. I think that's pretty much as much as I spent on this race, Beaver.
Yeah, I think that's right. Actually, I'm a bit confused as to why it's $2.25 in this race.
It should be $1.50.
Yeah, 100%. It's way over.
Just maybe so. I don't know.
Take some of the market.
Yep.
But there'll be big deductions, you would have thought. But yeah, it still doesn't make sense why it's not odds on. But yeah, it'll be winning if it starts in this. And if not, then you've got to look at, Tycoonist is going to be super hard to beat.
Yeah, and I guess we can't add really much more do we know tomorrow. Yep, nothing else to add? Sorry, cut you off there.
Nothing.
Race
nothing
8,
from me,
the Dark Jewel, where Flexible has come out. I liked, I think Majestic Shot's going okay here. I think it's worth an each-way play. Not a bad run last start and is around $8 now. Fits in pretty well here. Brookspire was disappointing first up and now gets J Ford. So some of these I just want to stay away from. I think if after Majestic Shot, I'm going to have something small on Monegal and Exotic Ruby, and that'll probably cover me for this race. What are you thinking?
Yeah, really tricky race. Some of these, as we know, are hard to catch. I've settled on Mirror Vision. I think it really likes the soft going. 4 starts this prep. Again, while on paper they don't look great, they've been in Group 1, Group 2 and Group 3 company. So all in really quality races and hasn't been that far off. And 2 starts back in second, 2 lengths behind Lighthouse, who'd be close to even money, if not odds on in this. Yeah. And then the start before that ran in a race by Forbidden Love, and then was only 4 lengths behind Snap Dancer. So if you look at the company, Snap Dancer, Forbidden Love, Lighthouse, and Promise of Success. So that's quality fields that Mirror Vision has been running in and hasn't shirked the task. So I think back in this grade, I think it can run really well at $10 mark. And then I'm willing to forgive Brookspire last start. Just Hawkesbury can be one of those trucks, as we know. Didn't put its right foot forward. If it can get back to the form it was in last preparation, can turn that around. Who knows? Wallace Stable, $2.50 favourite, now gets out to $8. Funny things have happened.
Absolutely, yeah, off the SP. We get to the Ortensia Stakes over 1,100 metres, race number 9. Again, Andermatt's still an acceptor here, so we'll wait and see. Again, if it's here, it's on top and it'll win. So wherever it ends up. If it's not here, I'd be looking towards, I think 11.11 fits in pretty well in this race, actually. You know what you're going to get from Malkovich, whether or not it can hold on over down the Scone straight there with Mr. Mosaic being a pest, not sure. So really tricky for me to line the rest up with where we're not knowing where this favourite's going. Beaver, did you like anything else?
I thought if Andermatt doesn't start here, Rohiran is the horse to beat.
Okay.
I think it'll probably start favourite. 11.11 struggles first up. Usually takes a bit of time to get into its stride. For that reason, having not won in 7 goes first up, I'm willing to take it on when Rohiran's won 5 out of 6 and has really good form in the wets. So I think Rohiran is the one to beat if Andermatt comes out. I think you're right with Malkovich. The 1100 Scone should have got run down at Hawkesbury last start by Tycoonist when, I think a struggle.
1,100 metres again. Benchmark 78 wraps us up for the day. How are you taking us home?
Yeah, again, another Cummings horse here, and another one that I thought was probably pretty good odds at the moment, $2.70. Altheric, it was fantastic last start. Let down beautifully, gave nothing else a chance, never looked like losing. gets the 3 kilo claim here, which I think helps. So it's actually 1 kilo lighter than last start. And again, this is an interesting field. Probably one of the, again, at value, if you're looking for some value, Iris Angel resuming. Could run well from the Wallace stable. Knockout chance.
Yeah, Theory clearly on top as well. You've covered that. Dylan Gibbons taking the claim helps too. And I talked about it last week, but Rainbow Connection's trialled up well for this. It's $10, and I think will run well here. From the Waller resumers are always hard to line up on wet tracks from whether they start or not. So I thought that was a way to finish the day. Scone Quaddie. Again, tricky, because I'm going to take Andermatt 1 out wherever it ends up. If Andermatt's here, it'll be 1 out. If it's not, I'll go 1 Bandersnatch, 3 Tycoonist, and 14 are much, much better. Second leg, 1 Mirror Vision, 3 Monogal, 4 Exotic Ruby, 9 Majestic Shot, 15 Le Gay Soleil, and 15 Brooks Spire, 16 Le Gay Soleil. Race 9, again, if Andermatt's not here, it will be 1, 2, and 3. Just looking through the rest here. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, which is 11, 11 are here, and Malkovich. And in the last, we'll come home with 1 Thoric, 3 Rainbow Connection, 8 Hulk, and 9 Irish Angel. Your best in value at Scone Beaver?
Yeah, my best comes up in race 10, number 1, Thoric. I think it'll be super hard to beat in the last. And my value bet comes up in race 5, number 16, and We Danced.
Lovely. And We Danced. We've got the Andrew Ramsden at Caulfield, Flemington, I should say, tomorrow. Free ticket into the Melbourne Cup. Have you had a look at the form at Melbourne at all?
Mate, I've had a bit of a squeeze in Melbourne to pick out a couple of things that I think will be hard to beat. I've come up with, let me just have a quick look. I thought in race 4, number 10, Adele Amore will run well. I've got race 6, number 5, Ice Peak Nick, super hard to beat. And in the Andrew Ramsden, I think the number 11, Splendiferous, I think it'll be winning.
I agree with you. I think Splendiferous will win. That's a pretty average field, apart from it. And I thought race 5, Bel Toro, will run well at Flemington. Finally, have you had a look at the Group 1 South Australian Derby at all?
I had a quick look, mate, at those races. The Guineas looks like a walk in the park for
a nice horse, doesn't it?
Elation. Yeah, looks like a nice horse. And looking at the Derby, I thought Allegron's just going fantastic at the moment. It was a great win last start. I think it looks the horse to beat for sure.
Yeah, 2 chances. Not that I've done a great deal, but Allegron looks obvious, and Detonator Jack's the up-and-comer for a stable that wins a lot of derbies. So, interesting to see that race play out. Any thoughts on It Is Magic Round up here for the Brisbane Carnival of Rugby League? And looking forward to that. Who are you tipping in the Penrith-Melbourne clash?
I'm going for the Panthers, mate. So I think the loss of Pappenhausen and Remus Smith makes a big difference to Melbourne. And I just think Penrith have a lot to prove after some probably mediocre matches last 2 weeks. I think they'll be fired up, ready to go, and Panthers on top for me.
I went Melbourne, but scared to death now of Cleary kicking them into the ground with a wet track there. So looking forward to being that. You can check out the Footy and Frothies podcast for our thoughts on that throughout the week. But good punting tomorrow, Beaver. Stay safe and dry, and hopefully find a few winners. Good luck tomorrow, punters, and we'll talk to everyone very soon. Catch you guys.
See you, mate.